All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to unpack one single, really provocative idea from our source material. It's all about this surprising link between our biology and the kind of mindset that can really feel like it's holding us back. You know that feeling, right? Like you're stuck in neutral, or maybe even reverse. It feels like your own brain, your own habits are the very things sabotaging you, no matter how hard you try. And man, is that frustrating. We talk about this a lot in terms of mindset. It's this like invisible force that seems to steer everything, our decisions, our gut reactions, and yeah, where we end up in life. But what if that force isn't exactly what we've been told it is? And that's where our source material just flips the script. It offers up this totally radical reframe, a really surprising and, maybe even revolutionary way to explain why some of us feel so trapped in a certain pattern of thinking. The source gives this a name, the poor mindset. Now hang on, before you jump to any conclusions, it's so important to know this isn't about blaming anyone. Actually, as you're about to see, this theory does the exact opposite. And here it is, the big claim. The source says this mindset is not a character flaw. It's not a lack of willpower. It is not a personal failing. Instead, it's a biological defense mechanism. I mean, that changes the entire conversation, doesn't it? Okay, so what does that even mean, a biological defense mechanism? How could our own bodies, our own biology, possibly cook up a mindset that seems to put a ceiling on our own potential? Well, let's walk through the logic that this theory is built on. So the theory lays out this pretty clear chain of events. It all starts when your brain senses a threat, right? It could be anything, financial stress, job insecurity. That kicks off the classic fight or flight stress response. Your body is basically prepping for immediate survival, not long-term planning. So your focus just narrows way down to survival, making it through today. And here's the kicker. If you live in that high alert state for long enough, that reactive short-term thinking just becomes your default setting. It becomes a mindset. So the takeaway here is huge. This way of thinking isn't a bug in your programming, it's a feature. It's your biology doing precisely what it evolved to do, keep you safe from what it thinks is an immediate threat. It's a survival strategy, not some kind of personal weakness. And honestly, that can feel really comforting, can it? It kind of lets you off the hook. It removes the blame. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, our source has a twist. It asks us to look at the argument itself in a whole new light. We're about to pull back the curtain a little bit. We're going to look at the source's own critique of its own statement. It's a little detail, but it changes everything because it shows us how the argument was built to be so darn persuasive in the first place. Okay, so to get this, we need a quick tool for our mental toolkit. It's a rhetorical tactic called an appeal to authority. It's basically a way to make your argument sound super credible, not by showing evidence, but by linking it to something everyone respects, like science or biology. And get this source comes right out and admits that's what it's doing. It literally points out that by using the authority of biology to explain this really common frustration, it automatically makes the whole thing sound objective and scientific, whether it actually is or not. Which leaves us with two totally different ways to look at the exact same idea. So which is it? Is this a groundbreaking biological explanation, or is it a really clever persuasive tactic that makes a social argument sound like a scientific fact? Let's just put them right next to each other. In one corner, you have this really comforting idea that this mindset isn't your fault. It's just biology. It takes away the stigma. But in the other corner, you have a persuasive tactic, using the language of science to make a social theory sound like it came straight from a lab. So look, the big takeaway here isn't trying to decide if the theory is right or wrong. It's about being able to hold both ideas in your head at the same time. On one hand, you have this really compelling theory. And on the other, you have a masterclass in how you can frame an argument to make it more powerful, just by borrowing the credibility of science. And this is the really fascinating place we land. We're left with a powerful, sticky idea, and at the same time, an equally powerful critique of how that idea was built. It's a fantastic reminder to always look at not just what's being said, but how it's being said. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. The next time you come across a very neat, very scientific-sounding explanation for a messy human problem, how do you decide if what you're looking at is a real insight or just a really, really well-told story?